Hi, folks. Steve Urban here, founder and CEO at recruiting and consulting firm Riderflex. If you think today's tip or guest interview can help someone you know, please share this with them. And if you enjoy listening to our show, please subscribe to our channel and hit the like button on the episodes. Finally, aside from our podcast, our day job here at Riderflex is to provide recruiting, staffing, and consulting services. You can visit riderflex.com to learn more about us and get the information on the services we provide. And now, a quick word from our sponsor and friends at Marketing 360.
Try the #1 marketing platform for small business. Everything you need from design to marketing to CRM. Learn more at marketing360.com. Marketing 360. Fuel your brand.
Allison Owen on the Riderflex podcast. Alli, what happened was we did a few like early on and I had the black screen, the background. And I had a few people who were like, well, it looks like your head's floating and you can't see anything else. And it kind of looks silly and whatever. Well, then we did a bunch of them like that to where it's kind of the brand now, right? It's kind of branded that way. So it's like, people recognize it as, oh yeah, the one with the black screen, blah, 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 black shirt. So we just kept it going.
Awesome. I love it.
It's the whole Johnny Cash, once you started wearing black, he that was it, right?
Totally.
So,
yeah.
Anyway, Alli, tell us about you, the person, maybe early on, family, childhood, siblings, parents. Give us some personal stuff if you don't mind.
Yeah, for sure. So I grew up outside of LA and I basically was an only child, lived with my mom and stepdad outside of LA. And then my dad got remarried and has 3 kids. So they're all like 10 years younger than me. So they're in their teens.
Okay.
So I get Gen Z's perspective from them. And I'm a not cool millennial for sure. I do so many chuggy things. Chuggy is like the term for,
well, what does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
It's like a TikTok term. It's a term for like super millennial things. Like you'll see, like hobby signs from like Hobby Lobby that say like, this home is blessed or something. Like that's super chuggy because it's like very millennial and like lame, basically.
Because millennials want to save the planet and be nice to everybody, and Gen Z is like they're over that, or what is that? I don't.
No, it's not that deep. It's more like just like basic stuff. Like I would say Uggs are probably pretty chuggy. Like like trend. It's more like trends that are like millennial specific trends that Gen Z doesn't think are cool anymore. So
that's interesting. See, now my boys, our children are millennials. So, and my grandchildren are not old enough to be they're not. So I don't really experience Gen Z a lot. Right. So that's interesting. So your dad, mom and dad got divorced when you were little, dad remarried later.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you got, what'd you say? 3 half brothers and sisters, or step? Were they step or half?
They're half.
They're half. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But you stayed with your mom and your stepdad through high school?
Yeah. Actually, in the middle of high school, I moved in with my dad. So I moved to Texas.
What happened? Did you get in a fight with your mom? You're like, I'm going to live with
dad. Teenage girl stuff. Like,
yes, totally.
Yeah. So, I wanted to just live with my dad too and get to know him because I'd never lived with him before. So I was like, and my mom was getting a divorce from her second husband. So I was like, this is a good time for me to, get to know my siblings too. So, I moved to Texas. Yeah, it was good. I mean, they were really young at that point, when I was in high school, they were in like elementary school. So it was hard to relate to them for sure. And I was more like the nanny than a sister in some ways.
So you graduated high school from Texas?
Yes.
Okay. Where? What town?
Outside of Houston. It's called Katy.
I know where that is. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. Very good. So that's why you ended up going to UT, University of Texas in Austin, because it was in Texas or in state or whatever. Okay.
Yep. Yep. And my dad went there too. So there was a bit of a family.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So you graduated from Katie. You,
Mhm.
but by the way, your relationship with your mom still good to go? Mom and dad,
Yeah.
it's all
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Your mom still lives in California?
No, my mom actually moved here to Colorado where we live now. So
Oh,
once we
okay. So
had,
she's, oh,
yeah, we had a baby last year, early last year. So
oh, congratulations. You're a new mom.
yes, I am.
I see. So your mom wanted to be close to the grandbaby. Got it.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right. Very good. Okay. That's cool.
Yeah.
Your accent is got that,
Valley
it's
girl.
almost, it's well, but there's a little hint of that, but then it's been blended in with the Texas kind of feel,
Yeah.
right? So it's got this mix.
I definitely still say y'all all the
Do
time.
you?
I love saying
Okay.
that. Yeah.
All right. All right. Very good. Okay. So you're going through college at UT.
Yeah.
Are you like straight A student, go to the library every day? Are you like barely passing because you're partying all the time? Like, what kind of student are you?
I would say I was in the middle. I graduated with a 3.3. So I wasn't
Oh,
like
okay. All right.
I wasn't like a 4.0 student, but I,
Yeah.
also was really social, very social, and definitely had my fair share of parties that I enjoyed on 6th Street in Austin. It was a fun time.
Great time. I've been personally hammered on 6th Street in Austin several times. I know right
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. So you got your degree in mathematics. What was the early thought? Like what were you thinking? Or what was the early kind of semi-plan?
Yeah, I mean, I would say I didn't really have a plan that much at that age. I was not very driven really in college.
Okay. All right.
I wanted to be a teacher. I thought I'd be a math teacher, and I ended up getting my teaching certificate. And I chose math because I love math and it was easy for me. And so I was like, I guess I'll just do this. And then I tried teaching, and
Oh,
I
you did?
really didn't like it. Yeah, I just did my student teaching, and I was like, this is so repetitive. And I mean, God bless teachers because they are amazing. And it's not something I could do. So I was like, I need to find something else that is a little more challenging for me, that like it changes a lot more than in more, So yeah, I ended up applying for grad school because my dad is a petroleum engineer. So
That's why. Okay.
yeah.
All right. All right.
And he
So
was like, he always wanted me to be an engineer. And I was like, no, because I just didn't want to do what he wanted me to do, like. But then finally I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it. I got a full ride to USC for grad school.
What? You got a full ride to grad school at USC?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. That's pretty
I
good.
was very lucky because I didn't get into any other grad school. So, and then I got a full ride at UC. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that's a sign that I'm like supposed to go there because no one else accepted me. And then USC accepted me with I'm like, maybe they messed up the paperwork or something, but I'm going to go with it.
Nice. Did you move back out to California for that?
Yeah, I did.
Okay.
I did.
All right. All right. So all right. So you're living in Southern California, you're getting your master's, you're thinking I'm going to be an engineer. All right. Then what happened?
Yeah. And then I tried engineering and I worked for 3.5 years as an engineer after grad school. And I worked through grad school too. I liked the business side of things. I was like so fascinated with the economics portion of, the oil and gas industry and, buying, like understanding how, you can price land and how you can economically justify certain projects. And so that part of the job I was really fascinated with, but I didn't really love like the actual day-to-day of the work. It was also kind of repetitive and yeah, just like monitoring wells performance and like doing the same pump swaps that we've, done 100 times. So then I was kind of looking for something else, and I was
are you single now right here in this moment? Are you single? Are you married? Are you dating? Where are you socially?
Yeah. So I started dating my husband like right when we're both engineers. So
I
we
see.
met in the oil and gas industry, like
I
in
see.
Bakersfield, California. And so we
Okay.
were dating. Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
we got married in the middle of my engineering job. So like in
Okay. So you were still working as an engineer when you guys got married. Okay.
yeah, yeah,
All right.
yeah.
All right. But you're having this early kind of I'm not going to call it a midlife crisis, but you're still kind of like, man, what do I really want to be? What do I really want to do?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All
I
right.
was like, I don't see myself doing this for 40 years. I don't. And then we got really into the FIRE movement. Have you heard of that?
I haven't, no, but I mean, I saw the van and I studied
Yeah.
on your whole thing, but I don't know what that is. The FIRE movement.
Yeah, it's financial independence, retire early. So
I should know that. Okay. All right.
it's like a group of people that save really aggressively so that they can like retire and live off their investments at a young age. So
Okay. All right.
yeah, there's
So
this
you just,
blog, Mr.
oh,
Money Mustache, who kind of started, I don't know if he started the movement, but he definitely made it more mainstream because he retired like at 32 from his engineering job and just lived off his investments. I mean, now he makes like $1 million a year on his blog. So I mean, that's nice.
so you got into that. So you got into this FIRE movement and say, okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So then we were saving like 70% of our income. We were we bought a house in Bakersfield and we were renting out the other rooms. So we were basically like living on like our housing expense was a profit every month. We were just like trying to optimize our whole lives so that we could retire early, like in our 30s. And
Okay.
yeah. And then we got to thinking, we're like, well, what if we could like do something that we enjoyed now so we don't actually have to wait even 10 years. We could, create a business or a life that is really aligned with things that we love to do and things that we're passionate about. And that's kind of where the idea of Sweet Logic was born, because Matt and I were both doing keto and low carb for various reasons. For me, for some hormonal health issues, and for Matt, his dad died really young of cancer and his grandma from diabetes. And so just these motivations encouraged us to eat this way. And especially in 2018, there were 0 products on the market really that made eating this way easy. So we were making these mug cake mixes every night, just finding recipes online. And they were so delicious and like satisfied our sweet tooth, but they were kind of a pain in the ass to like gather 10 ingredients, weigh them all out every night. And so we were like, well, maybe we could just package these mug cake mixes in a pouch and sell them and see if there's an opportunity there. And and then we launched at the end of 2018.
So you were making it already for yourself.
Yeah.
But you figured, okay, if I'm going to make this batch, why not make a big enough batch to eat and sell, basically?
Yeah.
Okay. You didn't have a commercial kitchen, anything like that? Nothing like that?
No, our first run, we found this like small mom and pop co-packer that like co-packed out of their garage. They were legal because we couldn't legally sell. You can't legally sell food that you produce in your kitchen across like county lines.
Right.
You can only sell it like at your farmer's market or something.
That sounds right.
Yeah. So we had to find some place, and we found this little mom and pop co-packer.
Of course, back then you're Googling, you're like, man, can we even sell this shit ourselves? Can we do it? Is this legal?
Yeah, exactly.
Were you both still working? You both still had your regular jobs as engineers, and you doing this at night, and then you bootstrapped you used your own money from engineering to get the co-packer and all that set up?
Yeah. And we ended up at that point too, we were like, well, let's just take a break from our jobs and see if what it would look like if we went all in on it for a year. We had saved up a bunch of money and we're like, we can live off this and use this as investments too, and just kind of like see what happens in this year if we go all in.
Now the entrepreneurial move right there, your dad, nobody in the family, anybody on his side an entrepreneur, his parents, anybody like a risk-taking entrepreneurial type spirit? I'm just curious. No,
my dad has a spirit of it, and he like does a lot of day trading and options trading, so I think that's where he gets his
yeah
yeah, his risk taking. I think I get that risk taking from him. But my mom's a social worker. Yeah,
Okay.
and Matt's dad was a policeman, and his mom was a waitress, a career waitress. So
wow. I mean, yeah. Okay. So no huge entrepreneurs necessarily. You guys are really the kind of the first ones to step out there like that. When you called when you guys talked to your parents, you're like, hey, we're going to quit our jobs and like make these cakes. Were they like, what? You're going to do what?
They were actually, yeah. I mean, they were like, okay, well, you have the skills to go get another job if you need to, they were like, they were like, do what you want to do. Like they thought we just kind of wanted to have fun and live in a van and like have an excuse to do that. They didn't, I don't think they really took us seriously. And I don't think they really understand. I don't think a lot of ways they really even still understand like what we do now. And they're like, okay, how's the business? It's hard when you don't own a business to understand what you're, what
it is, isn't it? It really is true. Now it's funny you bring that up because it's very similar for my own mom now and some family members. When I go back to Oklahoma and, they ask about the business and I kind of, from 30,000 feet, I kind of talk about it, but it just doesn't, unless you've been an entrepreneur or a business owner, it just doesn't really register, right? They just don't get, So I just kind of like, I say a few things and then we just move on to other topics. How did the van, so you set up the LLC or whatever, you get the co-packer, where's the van part come in? How does that come in?
Yeah, I mean, there wasn't really a strategy behind it. I think it was more like something we wanted to do. And, we thought, hey, let's like take this time that we have, before we didn't have kids at that point. We're like, when are we going to get this opportunity to just like go and travel and take a break? We kind of looked at it as like a mini retirement, like a sabbatical, and also to pursue our entrepreneurial interest and see what that would look like. And we were like, well, let's not do it in Bakersfield because we didn't really like Bakersfield. Let's travel around and see where we want to live and where we want to settle down. So that was kind of like the idea of the van.
Did you have any experience in what they call overlanding or boondocking or camping and travel? Were you,
I mean, camping, yes, and backpacking, yes, but no, and we've done some road trips and we've done a lot of traveling, but no, like, overlanding experience.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole different lifestyle, right? There's so many people now on YouTube that have channels for that and stuff. Did you have to spend a lot of money on the van? Did that cost a lot to build out, or did you find one that was kind of half there? What'd you guys do?
Yeah, I would not recommend what we did to anyone. We were like, let's get the cheapest van we could find. And we got an $8,000 Sprinter van that had 400,000 miles on it. Ooh. And they had to replace the engine. So it essentially didn't have that many miles on it, but, and then we built it out for about 15, I think.
Okay. Yeah. You got like 25 grand in it or whatever already. Okay.
Yeah. And then we had to replace, the transmission. Yeah. I was like, what's the one that starts with a T? The transmission. And so that was like another couple grand, but we ended up, selling it after living in it for 8 months. We sold it for 29. So we like broke even. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, only 8 months. So that only lasted 8 months. Were you like, okay, I can't do it? Or you're like, no, I can't.
It was like, it was amazing. It was like both and, it was like really hard to actually focus on building a business while you're traveling, which is something we didn't consider. Like, the logistics of being plugged into Wi-Fi. And then you also feel, when you're in these beautiful places, you're like, I want to go hiking. I want to explore. I don't want to be like stuck in my van at my computer, like working all day. Mm-hmm. And so we were like, well, we had our fun. We, we went all up the East Coast. We did a ton. And so we're like, let's go hunker down at Matt's mom's house. She lives outside of Aspen. And we're like, we could be ski bums there, like, work at the ski company for like 2 hours a week and get a free ski pass, and then really hunker down on the business then. So that's really when we started taking it more seriously, I would say. And we actually like got in the back of a bagel shop that we connected with, and that we were producing our own products, they're able to like launch a bunch of new flavors and, test and really get a lot of data. Yeah. So that's when we really started taking it seriously, I would say.
Okay. Very good. Now you just I want to touch, before we go any further, I want to pause right here on the working from the road in a van, because I don't know about you, but when I drive through Colorado right now, Sprinter vans that are decked out for overlanding, they are everywhere. I mean, I'm like, holy shit, I see a Sprinter van like every 35 seconds. And I'm just imagining, okay, there's another software engineer in there and we're trying to, work from the road or whatever. It's getting very popular. You just hit on the two things though, that I think are very tough. Number one, the internet connection and the speed of the internet, because everybody has this vision like, oh, I'm going to get in my Sprinter van and then I'm going to go up to the mountains and I'm going to work from the mountains. Well, good luck with that a lot of times because you can't get connected. Yeah. So that's a problem. And then the other big problem that you mentioned that I haven't talked about on the podcast, which I think is great that you brought it up. Because I've tried this myself. I know, owning a recruiting firm, Riderflex, I try myself to go up to the mountains in my Jeep and do some work while I'm up there. I try it myself. And exactly what you said, you get up there and you're like, okay, well, I don't want to sit in my Jeep for 8 hours and work on the laptop. Like I want to go over here, I want to hike over there. I want to do that. Yes, it's very difficult to trap yourself in a van in a beautiful area for 9 hours. It's hard. And I think people, they don't think about that when they have this vision of working from the road. I'm glad you brought that up. Anyway.
Totally. Yeah. And especially at the phase of the business we were in, we were needing to work on it like 9 hours a day. If it was a different phase, like we could maybe work only 1 to 2 hours a day, but that's not where we were at then for sure.
Gotcha. Okay. So you sell the van, you're in Aspen, you're living with your mother-in-law, you're working on the business, doing a little skiing. Okay. Is it making money yet? Is it burning cash? Is it breaking even? Like, where's it at right at this point?
Yeah. It's not making money for sure. I think that first year in 2019, we did 150K in revenue.
Okay.
So, I think we were negative like 5K. So it wasn't like burning cash, I would say.
All right.
But it wasn't profitable. And that was not like me taking a salary or anything from it. It was just like
no salary. So basically broke even, and you guys were still living off your savings, plus living with family, plus working a couple of days a week at the ski thing. Okay.
Yeah. And then Matt ended up getting a job in the middle of 2019 as an engineer again to kind of give some stability.
Working remotely?
No, he got a job in Denver. So that moved us here to Denver.
Yeah. Then that's why you moved to Denver. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you like, hey, yeah, but what about Sweet Logic? Like, what about the business?
Well, the plan was for me to really, take complete control and ownership of it at that point. I was like, okay, well, Matt will work on it in his free time when he can, but mostly it's all going to be up to me. So that was kind of. Yeah.
Plus you were kind of getting tired of living with your mother-in-law, right? To be honest. I mean,
she kicked us out. Oh yeah. She was like, you guys have until the end of ski season and then you have to go. I mean, it was nice. It wasn't like, bad or anything, but she was like, I like my personal space. Like,
That's pretty good. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So he gets an engineering job. You moved to Denver. No kids yet.
No. Yeah.
All right. And you're all in to Sweet Logic. You're all in. You're just going for it.
Yeah, I'm all in. We found an awesome manufacturing facility here in Denver. The startup scene for food companies is really awesome here in Denver. There's tons of networks and events. And so I just got really plugged in with everything. We manufactured, it was like a semi-automated line. So we were able to manufacture at a much higher rate and able to secure some bigger orders and upgrade our packaging. So that really elevated the brand and gave us a lot more data.
Still bootstrapped at that point? You hadn't taken on any cash? You hadn't raised any cash for anything?
Oh yeah, we're still bootstrapped today. So
how about that? Wow. Okay. All right. Yeah, and by the way, for the listeners, let me go ahead and get this in there. It is Sweet Logic is the name of the company, but the website, the URL is eatsweetlogic.com, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, just want to make sure I tell everybody. Plus, you can also find Alli, but it's Allison, right? Allison Owen on LinkedIn if you want to find her there. Plus, they have Instagram and all that good stuff, right? You can find them on social media. So
Or in Vitamin Shop too.
And you're in the Vitamin Shop. Okay.
Yeah,
So are you selling on Amazon, your own website, and Vitamin Shop? Are those the three places you can get it?
Yes. There's
other
some other places, but yeah, mostly those are the biggest channels. Yeah.
Okay. No other grocery stores yet. No other retail outlets besides the Vitamin Shop.
Some smaller mom and pops. They can go to our website on the Find a Store and they can see. Yeah, we're in about 150 others, but yeah.
What, does the Vitamin Shop have an exclusive, or you're trying to get into King Supers and you just haven't gotten in there yet, or what's the story?
Yeah, Vitamin Shop was the first company that came to us. They came to us back in 2019. Actually.
Oh, they knocked on your door. Door.
Yeah. And
were you like, the CEO from the Vitamin Shop is on the phone?
It wasn't Sharon. Sharon.
Okay.
No, but they passed on us in 2019. They looked at it. They reached out to us and they were like, "Hey, we're interested. Can you send us samples?" And then they were like, "Okay, we're not interested anymore." And I was like, "Dang, okay." And then I just kept following up, kept giving some updates on the brand. We changed the name. We updated our packaging. We still have the same formula, but I think those two things really elevated the brand to actually where it was ready for Vitamin Shop, and just increased our manufacturing capabilities.
And then they said, okay, we'll test it in like 5 stores, or what was the original test? How many stores?
No, they went to, I think it was 600 stores, or from the beginning. Yeah. So
did you have the capacity to get to the first order? When they placed the first order, you were like, oh shit.
Yeah, we did. We were ready. But we had to, definitely hustle for sure.
Oh, that's cool. All right. Yeah. When they placed their first big PO, that was your biggest moment in the company so far then, wasn't it? Probably.
Yeah, I would say, just getting that credibility too, being in Vitamin Shop is big because, we do well on Amazon and on our website, but it doesn't have the same credibility when you say, "Oh yeah, we're on Amazon." Because anyone can get on Amazon.
Right.
You can make a Seller Central account in 20 minutes and products on there. So I think it definitely added some credibility to the brand and started feeling more real.
Of course, you're most profitable probably when people buy directly from your own website, obviously.
Actually, it's on Amazon. We're more profitable, sadly. I know, because they have the shipping, their shipping side of things is so much cheaper than what we can ship for.
Is your co-packer doing the shipping if they buy from your own website? Who's doing the shipping?
There's a fulfillment partner with the co-packer.
I see. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So Amazon's got it down to where even if they buy from your own website, it's still, the margins are still better through Amazon. I didn't know that.
For us, I don't know if because we're also small and light too. So we get categorized in a special program because our products are really light.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Give us the elevator pitch for everybody that's like, okay, Sweet Logic, what the hell is that? They don't know. Give it to us. Go for it. Do it.
Yeah, so we make keto-friendly baking mixes with 1 to 4 grams of sugar. Our most popular product are mug cake mixes that are ready in minutes in the microwave. We have 11 different flavors of mug cake mixes. My personal favorites are triple chocolate and blueberry muffin and lemon poppy seed. Our lemon poppy seed is amazing. But we also have a full-size pancake and waffle mix, full-size brownie mix that are all keto-friendly and sweetened with allulose and stevia. So we don't use any sugar alcohols. So, some sugar-free products you may have tasted could have a minty aftertaste or give you digestive distress. And with the sweeteners that we use, there's no aftertaste and it's a really enjoyable experience. So that's a little elevator pitch about who we are.
Now, what makes you so different? Do you have some sort of patented secret formula that can't be copied, or can somebody else do the same thing? Like, so I guess it's a two-part question. What makes it super different, and how are you protecting yourself from somebody else's making the same thing?
Yeah, no, unfortunately, recipes can't really be patented. And, pretty much anyone can buy our product on the shelf and try to reformulate it. And it's not that hard actually with the requirements for ingredient listings and the nutritional information too. So, I mean, we protect our brand by having that direct line to the consumer with our online and our Amazon business. And basically having that community has been able to be a brand because anyone can come along. Like Duncan Hines actually came along in beginning of 2020, I think it was, and launched a really similar mug cake product that's now being discontinued from a lot of shelves because the consumer doesn't resonate with the Duncan Hines brand as a healthy for you brand. They want a new, they want a brand they can trust. So that's what we really want to be. That's why we have our family spaces on all of our website and in our, advertising. We just want people to be able to trust us as a low sugar, keto friendly brand.
Okay. So you just said something that's key that I want to pause on. So when I was doing my prep for the podcast, do you want to know what interested me the most? When I just let's just say the first minute and a half of my investigation of you to get ready for the podcast. Do you know what intrigued me the most? Just take a guess.
Was the personal aspect of it that we have?
Totally. When I saw you and you and your husband with the van photo or whatever, I was like, what? I was like, oh, cool. What's going on here? What's the deal here? That stuff matters, man. You're so right. Like anybody can probably make this stuff, right? And the reality is some of these big companies can probably make it for cheaper. So, you have to ask yourself, well, why would the consumer buy it from us? Well, because we're cool, because we have a story, because we can relate. They can connect with us. They're part of our Instagram family. They're part of our Facebook family. I mean, that stuff matters. It really does. And so, however many followers, I think, what do you got? 1,000 followers on Instagram and 2,000 followers on Facebook, something like that.
We have 15,000 on Instagram, I think.
Oh, 15,000. What am I looking at? How come I'm not looking at the right thing? This is, I pulled up Wait a minute. Wrong one.
Pinterest.
Wrong one. Yeah. Sorry. Oh, 15,000. I mean, that's a big deal, and then of course, once you get that kind of following, then they're depending on you to keep feeding them. They're they're going to be like, what's Alli doing this week? I want to know what now you got to feed the beast a little bit.
For sure.
But it does matter that, and I think millennials in particular want something they can relate to. I think people my age in their mid 50s, they're not quite there all the time. They're more like, okay, I just want convenience and price, and I don't care about anything else. Millennials are much different. I think they want to relate. They want to connect in some way.
Totally.
And so that's going to be really important for your brand. I'm glad you recognize that. And I'm actually like kind of bummed out that you're not still doing the van thing. Like I thought that was still going.
Oh, having a baby in a van just does not sound like
you should have little watch parties or whatever where you're like, hey, what's your husband's name?
Matt.
You should be like, hey, me and Matt are going to be in the van on 16th Street in Denver this weekend. Come see us, hang out or whatever. Stuff like that matters. But okay.
Yeah, we've thought about selling some mug cakes out of a van, kind of making it like an experience, related to the van. I think that would be fun.
I think that would be fun. Okay, very good. So what's the plan? Are you so you're making money now? Are you paying yourself yet?
No.
Okay, not yet.
But we're in a very high growth rate. So we have an employee that we pay that I choose to pay over myself. So
that's what founders do when you first start. Yeah. It's part of it. I mean, you're doing that. You're doing what the story is, right? Like so many co-founders, if especially if they're spouses or partners, if one of them can keep their regular job for a little while for insurance purposes and everything else, right? Because now you have a child and you need the healthcare.
Yeah.
If one of them can keep the job and then one of them can kind of work on the business a little bit, and then you can't pay yourself really at first if you're not, especially if you're not funded or if you haven't raised any cash, then you're paying employees ahead of yourself. And then even when you do start paying yourself, you're probably paying the employees more at first, because I did the same thing.
Yeah.
That is the typical story, man. That's it. That's the life, to get it going. My question is, are you thinking about a cash raise, or you're like, nope, I'm just going to bootstrap it and keep doing what I'm doing? Do you have the perfectly whiteboarded plan and map, or what are we doing here?
Yeah, we do. So we're going to raise some family money this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Friends and family round. So you're raising, are you in the middle of this friends and family round right now? Are you like, hey dad, I need this much money, or where are you at with it?
Yeah, it's just dad. It's he's the friends and family that we're raising from. So I don't have to go and, try to convince everyone. He's been pretty involved this whole time. So
isn't it interesting that at first, I can only imagine what he thought at first, right? He probably was like, he's like, what the hell are you doing? You're in this van, you're driving around. Now you're at the ski. Now you're in Aspen. You're skiing half the time. Like, come on, Alli, get your shit together, Alli. Like, what are you doing with your life, Alli? And now, boom, here he is, ready to invest in your company. Congratulations.
Thanks. I know. I think it was a combination of just time and proving the concept to him too. That just it takes time, and you just have to show that you're going to be resilient and you're going to make it work. We've been in business now since 2018, so we've shown that we've overcome a lot of battles. We've lost money in many instances. We've had to figure a lot out. So I wouldn't have invested in me probably 4 years ago either. So I think it's fair.
Now, how are you going to negotiate with your dad when he's like, listen, I'll put in this much money, but I want this much equity? Like, that's a weird conversation, isn't it? When you're trying to negotiate equity with a family member.
Yeah. I mean, I think he's going to be fair. We haven't totally had exactly what percentage he's going to get, but we've also talked about doing a convertible note, so we don't have to put the value on the company right now. So if there comes to be some disagreements about how much he's going to get, we'll be like, well, let's just table this discussion and do a convertible note until.
Very good. What do you think long term? But do you want to just build this for a lifestyle business long term for yourself, or do you want Duncan Hines to buy you someday, or what are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, if we found a partner that would want to continue the brand on in a way that felt right to us, then I think we would consider selling at some point. But also, we're really just enjoying the process. I think that has been key, is to just enjoy the process, overthink of how we're going to exit this, because we're going to take a while to get there. At least the business we want to create. So I mean, ultimately, that could happen, but ultimately we could just keep it in the family too. I could see that happening too. So it's kind of, we're keeping our options open.
It's interesting. You're right. People almost forget sometimes to just enjoy the ride for a minute, right? Like you don't, plus let's be honest, every time a startup sits down and whiteboards out their 10-year plan and everything, it's like, most of it doesn't matter. I mean,
I know
it changes so many times. There's so many pivots. That's why when people call me, and my advisory board members, if they're listening to this episode, they'll probably be pissed, but they'll be like, okay, well, I need to see the new updated 5-year financial model, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, look, man, we signed a new contract this week. We placed 10 new people. I did 3 podcasts, and now I'm having happy hour and I'm not worried about anything else. So it is what it is. You just kind of have to enjoy, just do it. Right. So many people spend all this time on this fantasy monopoly money plan that usually never comes to fruition anyway. And I know all the entrepreneurs out there that have been on the Riderflex podcast are like, Steve, you got to have this shit planned out. You got to have a plan. Yeah. I know. But really, just kick ass in the moment. Just do a good job. Make a good product, deliver it on time for a good price, and enjoy the moment. How about that?
Totally. Yeah. And there's going to be so many things you can't predict are going to happen too. It's like
COVID.
Yeah. Exactly. And so you just kind of have to, do the best right next step that you think every day. And I think a little progress every day is all you can ask for. And sometimes you get too caught up in like the plan in the long term and forget just the next right step you have to take. So
that's good stuff right there, Alli. Just concentrate on the next step forward.
Yeah.
Just take the next step forward. And by the way, even when it's painful and you fell down on the step previously, just get back up, take another step.
Yeah. Brush it off.
Let me ask you a couple of. So congratulations, by the way, that you've got it this far. The fact that you've bootstrapped it.
Yeah.
No, I forgot to ask you. No debt. You don't have any debt.
We have a $30,000 SBA loan.
Okay. All right. That's which is like 3% interest for 30 years.
Yeah. It's like $100 a month.
That's almost doesn't even count as debt. So,
like 3 months.
All right. Bootstrapped. You own 100% of the company until your dad takes a piece.
Yeah.
And you've survived this long. You've kept your marriage together, even though you started a company. You had a baby on the way. Boy or girl, by the way?
Girl.
Girl. What's her? Can we get her name, or you don't want to share?
Yeah, her name's Holland. Like
Holland.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Is your family Dutch?
No, we just like that name.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. So Holland. All right. I like it. So you had Holland, you had a baby, you're keeping your family together. You kept the business together. You're not burning cash. It's moving right along. Love it. I love that. You got in the vitamin shop. You got to talk to Sharon, the CEO from Vitamin World. Sorry, Vitamin World. No, Vitamin Shop.
No, Vitamin Shop. Right.
Jeez. Yeah. Oh my God. Sharon's going to kill me.
You're going to have to edit that.
I just totally was like, oh my God, sorry. The Vitamin Shop. Sorry, Sharon. You got in there. That's great. I mean, good for you. Yeah. Good for you. Thanks. I want to ask you a couple of questions here and wrapping up. A couple of outside the lines questions a little bit. How you've decided to manage your own personal social media, and what others you see other CEOs and founders doing. I'm curious. You know how some of these founders and CEOs, they go on social media and they decide they want to talk about sensitive topics or political topics or hot topics of the day or whatever it is, and they want to blast their opinions and take sides and whatever and all this stuff. What are your thoughts on that, and how have you decided to manage that aspect of your personality online?
Yeah. As you know, we build the brands. We just want to be a trusted authority in space. And so that's how I've kind of looked at sharing on social media and building my own social media is like, how can I build trust? And to me, I trust people when they're honest with me and when they're vulnerable with me about what's really going on. And they don't just share the wins. They share the struggles. They share, the hard points. They share that I haven't taken a salary, ever. And it's like, but you also share the wins too. So I know when I interact with social media as a founder, I get discouraged when all I see are other brands like sharing all of the wins. Cause I know behind the scenes, there's always stuff going on. You can never tell from like when people aren't honest. So that's kind of been our standpoint is like, as a bootstrap business and soon to be, just like a family owned business, basically is like, we have that ability to not have to really care what anyone else we don't have investors that are like
board members or investors. Yep.
Yeah. That you can't say that, you're not, you haven't paid yourself. You can't say these things. Like no one's telling us that. So we're like, well, let's just share the honest journey. And also, my family is Mexican. I'm Mexican. Like my dad is Mexican. And it's like, it's really important for me to show as a Mexican woman that it's it's possible for anyone to do it. And I want to be honest about the journey too, that it's not easy and there's not the rose-colored glasses, but that it is possible if you have, grit and some problem-solving skills when, shit hits the fan, that you can figure things out and kind of like inspire other people. So that's kind of like the goal of how we share online and the strategy behind that.
I can sense that. I see that online. I love that. I think that's a wonderful way to approach it, for sure. I think people want to see that. And people want to know what the real story is, right? They want to know what's going on behind the scenes, and the different things that struggles, because you're right. Everybody struggles. Isn't it? It's the same when I meet people, right? They always just tell you all the good news and you're like, okay, well, come on now. We all know that there's struggles. Me and Matt got in a fight today because he didn't like this flavor, and I told him we were going to launch this flavor anyway or whatever. What's the biggest disagreement you guys ever had? Can you think of a good one? You want to share a good one? I'm sure there's been several, but anything in particular you want to share when you were like,
yeah, I can think of, when we were approaching the rebranding of changing the name and upgrading our packaging, like he really didn't want to spend the money because it was going to be like 20 grand to upgrade our packaging and, get the name trademarked and stuff. And he's very much your typical engineer mindset. Like he didn't see that would actually add value. He was like, people are going to buy the product or not, the packaging doesn't matter. And so I had to convince him, that to trust me on this. And he did. And then eventually, he came around and he was like, you were right, that really elevated the brand and actually opened up a lot of doors for us. So, we haven't really had any like big blows. They're pretty like, okay, let's talk this through. Why are you feeling like this? What, and we really respect each other's opinion. I think that's the foundation of any successful business partnership is like respect for who the other person is.
Agreed. Who came up with your packaging and colors? Did you hire a marketing firm or you did that?
No, I hired not a firm. He's just a guy that, Christopher at Tenfold. Yeah. In Idaho. Okay. Yeah. He lives on he has a farm and he has a bunch of kids. He's like, just does it, packaging design in his basement. So I highly recommend if anyone's looking for that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I think the packaging is a huge difference. I mean, the majority of consumers, when they're looking at a shelf at a grocery store, the packaging is what catches the eye. I mean, that's what they reach for. It's, and now once they get hooked on a brand or they become loyal to a brand, maybe they stop paying attention to stuff. But at first, especially if you're a new brand, it's all about what the eye catches, I think.
Totally.
Yeah. So I think it looks good. I think it looks really good. So shout out to Christopher.
Yeah, he killed it. But I also, led a lot of that. Like we iterated like 100 times based on, customer feedback that we received and did some like test groups and did some surveys and stuff. So
very, very, very good. Are you going skiing this year or no?
Yes, I am. It's actually supposed to snow today. Hopefully. So yeah,
so you're still trying to get some skiing in. Okay. That's good.
Yeah. But I have a baby now, so it's hard. I have to find someone to watch her or,
Well, what's it like being a mom so far?
It is so hard. I have so much more respect for parents than I have so much more respect for my parents. But it's also amazing at the same time and like so rewarding and fulfilling. It's both ends,
Does Matt get up and change diapers in the middle of the night?
Oh yeah, he does.
Okay, Matt. All right, Matt. I'm watching you, Matt. You gotta make sure you help out.
No, he's very like, I mean, we did this these cards that are called fair play cards that basically they have all of the household tasks that you would like that any household does basically. And you go through them and see how much each person does to see if it's actually like 50-50.
Oh.
And yeah, and it was, there was a little sketchy there while we were doing it because he was a little defensive about some of it.
He's trying to pull out the dishwasher card, and you're like, no. We filled the dishwasher together. Right.
Yeah. But it was helpful to just lay out, and really define the roles as to like who's doing what. Like Matt's in charge of all the cars. Like he does maintenance on the cars. He, figures out if we need a new car or whatever. Like he does all the house repairs and it's just like defining these roles, because especially when you have a kid and you have a business and you have so much going on, you can get resentful of the person. Like if you're like, I'm washing the dishes right now, you're like, you're sitting over there like on your phone, like that's, it can build up. So it was helpful to like identify, what are each of our jobs, and that we actually do have an equal responsibility in the home and in business. So we're trying for a modern partnership here.
I love it. Now, are these cards you can order online? Where are these, like real cards you hold in your hand?
Oh, yeah, it's on Amazon. They're called Fair Play. There's a whole book on it too. So.
Oh, interesting. Yeah. I would be curious I wonder what my score is with my wife. I'd be curious to know, actually, kind of. I mean, we well, I've been married to Kim for 22 years, so we're very in the groove, right? Like I know what my jobs are. She knows what hers are, and we. For example, I always make the bed. Like I have just always been the one to make the bed. If I'm not here, like if I'm gone for the day or two, the bed does not get made because she's like, I don't do that. She's like, that's not my area. That's your area.
Yeah.
I wonder what our score is. I'll have to talk to her about this. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah. One last question. I know we're out of time. If you had to define your core purpose right now in life, let's set Holland and Matt aside for a minute.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of like obviously the main core purpose. But so aside from Holland and Matt, like how would Alli describe her core purpose?
I think to live up to my full potential so that I can be of greatest service to others.
Oh, that's pretty good, Alli. That's pretty good. Did you practice that, or did you just did you?
I just came up with that on the spot.
Wow. All right. That's pretty good. You might want to write that down. You might want to frame that. That's a good one.
I know. It just came to me. But yeah, that's ultimately pretty much sums it up.
Very good. Alli, thank you so much for being on the Riderflex podcast and sharing your story. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve. I had a great time.